Hey group, this is Sex on Fridays slash Humility Part 2. like, I'm just learning so much, group. Um, it's just miraculous, truly miraculous. Like, I've been writing, I've told you all about my chagrin about getting into my old journals. This one's from 1995, and I've really been deeply getting into it, and trying to approach it with an open mind. But it's interesting, and this is I wouldn't have thought this about me, but looking back, reading who I was in 1995, strangely enough, I hope it's a little strange, the word that truly comes to mind when I was writing about it is arrogant. Like, I come off as very arrogant. Like, I have a sense of my superior intellect. And I discuss that on nearly every page. And there's this one scene where I go out with I go to this party, like with adults, and I complain about the fact that everyone had to introduce themselves. And there were about 50 people there. And that took 10 minutes, I say in my journal, as if I'm so important that I don't have 10 minutes to listen to other people introduce themselves for a Christmas party. And I'm just kind of astounded at the depth of my ignorance and my lack of like an artistic or spiritual sensibility. Like, I just like, truly, and I know I'm only 17, but where is the love for humanity? So I'm just surprised at my own arrogance, but maybe not so surprised. I don't know. It's done. It's done, like I said. And so that leads me to Sex on Fridays. Like, I really appreciate one of my friends just a few weeks ago. I was again saying, well, I never had a boyfriend. And he very sweetly said, I still don't know if I believe that. But it is true. Like, people now, I hope, would be surprised that I used to be, I think, kind of arrogant, I guess. And perhaps it was that very arrogance that was wasn't making me open to relationships or learning. And so that's related to Sex on Fridays, because I really started to grow as a person when I admitted a few years ago that I don't know much at all about sex. Like, again, I love my husband, but I know now that sexual expression is not something that's important to him. Like, he passionately expresses himself through like engineering projects. Like, he made this fireplace for me. Can you see? Oh, I don't have the fire going, but like, he made these bookshelves and the fireplace. Like, that's how he expresses himself. And like, sexual expression isn't important to him, and he just doesn't want to talk about it. Like, now I know, not gonna happen. So when that's been my partner and I've had no other experiences, like, I know more now, but a few years ago I really did not know hardly anything. And one of my friends, when I was first talking about this, says, it seems like you're writing this like someone who's new to sex. And I'd been married for 15 years ish. And I kind of was like, I really just didn't know. But once I opened myself up, like, maybe I don't know if the word there is arrogance, but once I was willing to admit that I didn't know anything, that's when I really started to grow as a person. Like, you can see just how I look much different than I did just a few years ago. Like, I've just really become again, I don't want to use the word better, because that, again, I think humility is recognizing how little you know. So once I put myself out there, like, I don't really know anything about sex. I'm in my early 40s and have about the same amount of knowledge as maybe some 12, 13-year-olds. I mean, I've had sex, but anyway, I just, like, humbly, like being down there and admitting you don't know, like that's where the real growth starts, I think. So the other day I was talking about how you take strength from being down by the earth. And this has to do with that too. Like I think once you start to admit that you don't know anything, that's when you can kind of open yourself up. Like I guess when I was 17, I was just closed off to the idea of trying to learn new things because I thought I already knew, which is extremely stupid. But I was young back then. But again, I will say in a larger cultural context, like our culture is not, doesn't really want people to be like, well, I don't know. Like the point of your life is to like be an expert and know what you're doing. And I was thinking, I don't know, like I said, I'm watching Grey's Anatomy, and maybe that kind of attitude is good if you're a surgeon. Like you want to come in like, I know it, I got it. But if you're trying to be like an artist or a writer or a spiritual leader, like these are my goals, coming there from a place of arrogance, that's literally the least, like the worst trait you can have. Like it has to come from a place of inquiry. So that's my Sex on Fridays talk for today. Like, this is why like my sexual exploration is a real metaphor for, spirituality and everything else, because you have to admit you don't know. Like, go down there low and be like, oh, I'm ignorant. And then once you open yourself up to that ignorance, at least only speaking for myself, I've actually grown a lot as a person. So that's it. Everyone have a great weekend, and thanks for tuning in. Bye.